Hello and welcome to the Underpowered podcast, a gaming podcast where we battle our backlog, revealing what is worth your time, money, and energy. My name's Shelby Stokes, and my right-hand man is here, Casey Cool.
Hello.
My left-hand man, Phil Karen.
Hello.
And joining us today, the RPG playing aficionados from podcast Turn by Turn. We have Chris and Daniel in the house tonight.
Hello.
How's it going, guys? Hello, welcome. Thanks for being with us.
Of course. Thanks for having us on after we begged.
Yes.
I know you and Casey were kind of going back and forth and strategizing. That was like a
Come
true
on.
RPG move. Well done.
The crying helped, and that was on my end. I felt
Yeah.
like when I was like, please, we just really want to talk to you. We're
You're
nice.
just like checking your phone. Like, why is this guy sending us videos of him crying? That's
My
the
wife
weirdest
was
thing.
my wife was a little concerned, like, why are you checking Twitter every 30 minutes? This is our anniversary dinner. Sorry, dear. Sorry.
Yeah. So prior to the show, Casey mentioned that he had a story about the Tooth Fairy, and
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
very excited now that we're hot to hear this Tooth Fairy story, Casey.
This has nothing to do with RPGs, but our show's really about backlogs and trying to play games and being parents and making time for games. So I'm going to be really careful too, because I know parents listen to this and maybe they listen with their kids, right? So my son lost another tooth, his bottom tooth. He's eating breakfast and he swallowed it. And that happened to me as a kid. I don't know if that happened to you guys. Did any of you ever swallow a tooth? No.
No.
Devastating feeling when you're a young kid, right? So we kind of like market like, oh, you're gonna get just way more money. This happened because it did happen to me, right? So later that night, the Tooth Fairy, because where his room's at, there's a pouch by his door, so I didn't have to go. The Tooth Fairy made sure to put the money in the pouch, right? I know because the Tooth Fairy walked by at 9 o'clock to double check that everything was there, and then the Tooth Fairy went up to bed. Then the Tooth Fairy got up in the morning and maybe something happened, but then I got up in the morning, and my son kind of walks in the room and goes, "The money's never came. The Tooth Fairy didn't come." I'm like, I'm 100% confident the Tooth Fairy came by because he walked by it twice today. I'm pretty sure. So like check under the bed. I go up and tell my wife, she's like, "Did you lose it?" I'm like, "No, there's no way that the Tooth Fairy lost it." And she runs downstairs like while I'm talking to him again. She's like, "Oh, it was on the stairs. The Tooth Fairy must have dropped it." He goes, "Oh, weird, because it was behind my book this whole time." And then so he ended up getting $20 for the swallowed tooth
What?
because we didn't have the heart to tell him about the Tooth Fairy, how the money got lost, because we got finessed and hustled by a 7-year-old who was smarter than us.
What a play! I mean, he earned that. He earned
Yeah.
that.
I was like, well, I started doing like 2 until I'm like, hey, these toys weren't out. What time did you get up this morning? And then he's like, oh, let me go look behind. Oh, it's right here behind my book. That's all the way across the room. That's nowhere near the pouch. Like,
Sounds like the Tooth Fairy should drink a little less.
Yeah. Tooth Fairy did have a football meeting at the local ale house that night, so that's why I was like, did I drop it? So that's the joys of parenthood, Daniel and Chris. I know we were talking about being dads there, so don't trust your 7-year-old if you're giving them money. That's my life lesson.
Dude, but honestly, if I knew that all I had to do was swallow a tooth and then the prices went up to $20, I would have
One-time deal. I told him that's a one-time deal. I'm pretty sure. I think I said the Tooth Fairy smarter than they look. From what I hear.
No more in taxes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Gonna have a lot of kids choking if that ups the value.
Can you actually just punch it down my mouth instead of pulling it out with the string? Yeah. Yeah.
I can't wait for the tooth to fall out on the next go around, and he just puts it in his mouth and swallows it as quickly as he can.
Just straight drops it like a. He's like, oh, good, yes,
You know,
what I can do.
Yeah, I mean that's strategery. You know what I mean? Get a little bit more bang for your buck.
Well, speaking of strategery, Chris and Daniel, you guys host a podcast that's all about strategy games and JRPGs and RPGs alike. So, how did you guys get together? How did that start?
So, for all those like long, deep-seated fans of mine and Chris's, we had this really somewhat obscure podcast about the game Shining Force, which has about 15 fans, and after all 15 of them
Real
checked out,
quick, if you don't know what that is, it was Sega's answer to Fire Emblem back in the day. Both
Right,
kind of
it's
Fire Emblem and Legend of Zelda, kind of in one.
Okay.
Shining Force. Yeah, I had never heard of it. Thank you for the explanation.
It's Sega's version of Fire Emblem.
Gotcha.
Fire
Or is that
Emblem
fantasy?
and Zelda.
And Zelda. Okay.
So, how did you guys both realize that you were fans of this series? This is like something you grew up with together, or was it just like, no, I love this game, me too?
Daniel and I have never met in person, actually. He lives
Wow,
in
internet friends.
Yeah, he lives in the northern U.S. I live in the south, and Daniel was actually running Shining Pod, is what he called it, with another friend. And then I was listening to it, and he was like, at the end of one of the episodes, he was like, "Hey, if anybody wants to come on as a guest for an episode, I would love to have you." And I was I the only one that reached out?
Pretty much. I think we had one other person that I asked who had sort of expressed interest, but it was basically just you. So I got you on as one of our 5 main episodes.
Oh wait,
And
no,
then-
there was one other guy that reached out to tell you that he felt like you were stepping on his turf because he had already started a Shining Force podcast and produced a single episode
Yeah,
in a number of
Dang.
years.
and
I didn't realize the market was so crowded for Shining Force podcasts.
I know. The reason I picked Shining Force is because I didn't think there was going to be another podcast about it. But so he listened to mine and said it was inferior. We also stepped on his turf. So
Bold. Bold.
I'm just
Starting
imagining
with,
somebody
starting with
getting-
just a straight slam. Hey, this isn't good. Mine's
I know.
better.
There's 15 of us. Why are you dunking on like 1/15 of the
Yeah.
audience?
Yeah.
But so Daniel and I did that for an episode, and then that was it. And time went by, and it was maybe about a year and a half, 2 years. We both kind of went off and did our own things in different corners of the internet. And after about 2 years, he jumped back into my Twitter DMs and was like, "Hey, I am talking to a production company called 65 Media, and they want me to do an RPG podcast, and I need a co-host. Are you in?" And I said yes, and so here we are.
There you go. So what came to the idea of we're going to do turn by turn? Like, I like that because JRPGs, you get the nice play on there. Was it initially going to be like was there any talks of your actual playthroughs being, okay, on my first turn, this is like each battle talking about that, going in that in depth? I was wondering when you hear the name, like, well, how deep are these going to go? And you give wonderful synopsis of games. I really loved your Chrono Trigger episode. Okay, just wasn't that, and then the Radiant Dawn one has got me really excited because I know everybody's talking about Fire Emblem. If you want to go listen to one of their more recent episodes, they've reposted. That's a good one. How did you come up with the workshopping for the pod?
Yeah, so when Shining Pod went down the drain, it was sort of like, how could we keep doing this and have an audience? And the idea was, well, turn-based stuff is pretty fun. What if we just covered all turn-based stuff?
Okay.
And then we couldn't think of a snappier name than Turn by Turn.
No, it's really good. I love a good branding. I was like, that's solid. That's really
Although
solid.
I have dragged us out of the turn-based thing a couple times by stretching what RPG means a little bit.
Right, because you get like the Secret of Manas, right? Or some would argue Zelda's a bit of an RPG, JRPG. kind of
The
thing.
furthest I think I've stretched it on the show is Samurai Warriors.
Oh,
And to answer your other question about how in depth do we go, we decide that on an episode by episode basis. It depends on how much we want to get into the specifics of each game. Sometimes we want to talk about greater themes. Sometimes we want to go in depth on the story. Sometimes it's more about gameplay. But we were both pretty adamant that we didn't want to be the guys that were like, so the etymology of the short sword, like. There's people that do that, and I appreciate those people, but it is just not for me. I can't focus on the nitty gritty like that.
yeah, that'd be. I can't. That's a history podcast at that point, which is different market. So when you talk about games, because I notice you guys do seasons, do you say we're going to do these games for the season, and do you both beat the games, or do you both put in a set amount of hours? Or what if one of you recommends a game and then the other hates it? What's the process there?
So we only pick
Depends.
games we don't like.
Oh, okay.
And then we
Smart.
hope by playing them that it'll sort of sway our opinion. No.
That's a good podcast. Mark it. Let's end it. Cut the show. We're all starting a new one together. It's called We Hate It. And we use Jay Sherman from The Critic as the thing. Hated it. Okay.
Yeah, it's a spinoff. It's going to be Turn Then Burn.
Turn and burn. There you go. Yes.
Crap.
He's like, not again. No. Sorry.
But really, we just sort of it's based on what we've been playing. We tend to try to pick more popular things so people have heard of them. But as we get deeper into the turn-based woods, we've gotten some. We have something like so incredibly random planned for season 3, episode 1. I don't think you'd ever guess it because I didn't know it existed until Chris told me about it.
Can you give me a clue?
Do you like to read? That's your clue, and maybe write a little bit.
Actually, before you guys got on this cast, we decided none of us like to read or write.
Yeah, we had a whole conversation about right. I like to read. Hold on.
You might not like the game we've chosen, but it's another one that's like, I don't think I'm stretching what an RPG is, but I'm reminding some people what an RPG is.
Okay, I'm excited because I'm like reading. I mean, obviously, if you like JRPGs, you enjoy some type of reading and storytelling, right? But like reading and writing.
Yeah, I was going to say that's kind of a staple in the genre, right? There's always a bunch of reading. There's normally some dialogue dumps for a lot of the JRPGs. That just comes with the territory, right?
Comes with the turf.
The turf.
Yeah, but you got to write too.
I'm intrigued.
Right. Yeah, me too. Okay, I'll keep an eye out. So have you gotten to the point though where one of you like this? I know you had your top 5 where you're like, "Hey, I want to play this game," and you didn't like it. Have you gotten into any of those debates where it's like, "This is not for me"?
We've done a couple that like, I know Daniel did one with just a guest on what was that game?
I Bravely Default 2.
Yes.
Oh, I have some hot opinions on that one.
Because that was one I just was not passionate about, and
that's the feeling. That is correct.
I'm not gonna phone it in, So I was like, I'm really busy. Am I gonna allocate like 40 hours or 50, 60? I don't know how long that game is. Like to give it a fair
80
shot.
80 to 90.
I just couldn't do it. So he got a guest for that one, and I think that was the right play. We haven't had one that one of us loved and the other just absolutely hated. But we'll see if that comes up. We're both in the throes of or I'm in the throes right now of Fire Emblem 3 Houses, and I'm getting some strong opinions. And
are you liking it or not liking it?
Both.
Okay.
But
interesting.
The longer I play it, the less I'm enjoying it.
Really? Okay.
I'll say that. And Daniel really, really loves that one.
Do you not like the teacher sim part? Is that the part that drives you nuts? The being in the class?
Do I like trying to like take my students on tea party dates? No.
That part's ridiculous. Yeah.
It feels a little bit odd. And I'm a little bit done with the monastery at this point.
Yeah.
And I'm a playthrough and a half in. And so I've still got 2
So you're doing your second campaign?
Yes.
Who was your first campaign run?
Black Eagles, Edelgard.
Oh, and then who are you doing now?
Golden Deer with Claude.
Okay, the anime club, like let's save the world group versus the real dark group. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. I've got thoughts that I don't want to totally get into.
Yeah, if you're doing it on the show.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Not being able to host a successful tea party is not the game's fault.
Yeah.
Like you need to get to know the kids better if you want to have a successful tea party.
Get better and learn tea etiquette, sir.
You are botching your experience.
Yeah, that's the issue I have with that is the children do not like me enough. That's my problem.
Exactly.
Well, now one of you, your favorite was Sacred Stone. That was
me.
That was you?
Yep, I think so.
Yeah, and I love Sacred Stone from the GBA with Seth and Erica and her brother that I lost his name, Ephraim. Because the GBA is where I got hooked on Fire Emblem myself. It's a great series, and I know someone in the chat asked how important replayability is for you. I think Fire Emblem is a great example of replayability in JRPGs, and you guys kind of touched on this too. Permadeath can change the story and outcome from a game because you play Daniel. If I understand, if someone you're Ivan Draco. If he dies, he dies. Right? Like that's how you play it.
I've gotten a little softer because I got tired of having like 3 characters per battle and having them take like an hour and a half to navigate a map. So
Right.
I'm soft in my old age. So
Yeah.
now I tend to restart a little more than I used to. But
Okay.
during the Sacred Stones run, I did like 5 battles in a row with like 3 units, including Seth, because Seth is invincible pretty much.
Yes.
So
There's always that first level paladin you get in all those games that's
Yes.
way overpowered.
The
You know?
archetype for Fire Emblem is called the Jagan, because the very first character that was named Jagan. So
That's right. Yeah, and he's in. I'm a shill for Fire Emblem, and I play the phone game. And he's like a random recruit from the gotcha game, and you're like, who's this old man paladin, in his purple armor? And then you get there's always the red and green one, right? I like it when they do continuational like themes like that. Fire Emblem's great for JRPGs.
we call those the Christmas Cavaliers,
Yes.
because they're red and blue, or red and green always.
Yes. How long do you go between seasons of recording?
it's usually like 2 months or so.
Okay. And use that time for gaming and life, I assume.
Catching up on our 80-hour RPGs.
Yeah, I know. You picked like a really quick, easy genre to play through.
Yeah,
I haven't seen my family in weeks. I go to work, I come home, and I like binge Fire Emblem until I fall asleep. Then I wake up to Earthbound, and then I go to work.
Oh, nice. God. What an animal.
So
I'll say we don't finish. Well, sometimes one of us usually finishes the game. One of us usually does. But we do a combination of playing through the game, YouTube Let's Plays, and reading about it, because I like to kind of get other people's perspectives to know what I'm walking into. And then some games I just don't have the time to finish. But because we pick games that we're passionate about, usually we have finished them, or at least played them very extensively. Though I'm excited to bring a couple to the show, maybe in season 3. It might take till season 4. I want to do an episode of RPGs we've dropped. It was like I'm staring down the barrel of 300 more hours of this, and I just can't do it. It just isn't good enough.
And what have you been playing? Triangle Strategy?
Yes, that was me.
Okay, is that going to be on the show?
Yes, it is.
If you need a person to come talk to,
when
I'm doing my 4th playthrough. Yeah, I would love. I'm trying to shill my way into that one. So if you need a third person to come in, I'm on my 4th playthrough. I'm on the final route on that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Definitely. If Chris will ever play it.
Yeah, it'll take me a bit. I have my own YouTube channel where I'm doing SRPGs, and if you want to check that out, it's Nihil, Nihil, and it's taking me forever because it takes a lot of time to produce a show, but that is definitely one that is on my lineup to do on that.
Yeah, it's a good one if you like tactical RPGs. You know, like I played a lot of that. Like we took a long break. I've been playing a lot of that, and actually the game I've been playing the most is Ninja Turtles. After that, the new Shredder's Revenge, and I finally beat it with my son. My 4-year-old daughter started playing it with me too. She loves April O'Neil, and I love hearing from a 4-year-old because she talks. Let's play Ninja Turtles. Like she's running through the house saying that, and it's like my heart melts. Let's do whatever you want. And she's horrible. Like she stands in the corner and hits Y. She gets like, I'm like, you got 4 KOs this round. Right? We don't say kills. Like, and then like I think the highest she's ever gotten is she's like defeated 11 mobs, and that was a big win in the house for us.
Whoa.
This is a must-own game for me though. I think in the long run, like I think it's a big game of the year contender for me. If you have any nostalgia for Turtles in Time, it's so good. And I know it's free on Game Pass. It's $20, $25. It's well worth it, especially because they keep hinting at DLC.
Do you think the DLC is coming?
I think it'll take some time. Because if you look at the sprite work that they do, it's very intricate, right? Everything's there. And they kind of like the fandom has come out for this and expressed how much they love it. Like if they want to make money, give me another $20 DLC because I want more of this game. That's my only complaint about this game. I want more.
Yeah, I was going to say, it doesn't look very long. I think I had played it for one sitting, got through like 6 levels, and there's 10
16.
total. Is that right?
There's 16.
Okay. Gotcha.
And then you go back through challenges and you can set the difficulty mode. Like the one challenge that's really hard is don't get hit. And there's a couple levels where like don't take any damage. And some of them like, how do you do that? But I think if you play solo, the game's a little more forgiving because the more people you play, sometimes you get more mobs. Like if you play with the full 6 people in line, there's sometimes like 15, 16 Foot Clan members appear out of nowhere. You're like, what's going on the screen?
How about the collectibles? Because I think they have collectibles in this game, right? Are you like able to track those down? Have you completed any sets?
I go back. I completed them all.
Nice. What kind of rewards they have? Is it more like lore or?
It's points, and the points go in story mode that you can unlock like abilities, or if you get to level 10 is the highest level. And let's say like level 6, you get an extra life. So you start a game with, instead of 4 lives, 5 lives. The other thing is if you lose a life, you can get resuscitated by your teammate. I don't know if you've ever seen that, where you try to give them a piece of pizza. So you don't lose a life there, but you start with lower health. And then there's some abilities where you lock like a midair special or a counter special. It's been a lot of fun.
I'm going to add that to my emergency card, by the way, like resuscitate with pizza.
Pizza?
Yeah.
What pizza would you be resuscitated with?
Supreme, because it has vegetables on it, and those are good for you.
Gotta be healthy that way. I'd have to put a note, no red sauce, because I get really bad heartburn. So this would actually induce pain.
Dude, I'm telling you, if you go down and you need a non-red sauce slice of pizza, you're done. Like you can't find any non-red sauce.
Barbecue chicken.
Where are you gonna
Alfredo
go get a piece of barbecue chicken?
Pesto. Come on, man.
Dude, I would just travel with a Lunchable from now on.
That's why I want to like. What's the ratio of people that are ordering the pesto pizza? Like, how many pesto pizzas have been sold?
People of culture, sir. That's who's ordering pesto pizza. No, listen. If you want good pizza, you do a white sauce, chicken, bacon, red onions, and black olives and mushrooms.
And you call yourself a turtle fan. The turtles would be so disappointed in you.
They eat like anchovies on theirs. What are you talking about? They get the worst ingredient. Having worked at a pizza place, I think in the 2 years I worked there, someone ordered anchovies one time, and it makes the whole area stink. You're like, what is that smell? The turtles are gross. All right, they put like marshmallow pizza, mayonnaise pizza. Although I've heard mayonnaise on pizza is pretty good, but that's a different argument.
Mayonnaise on pizza?
I haven't tried it. I'm not opposed to trying it. I think I've heard it's good though.
You know, you say that, but technically that's not a red sauce anymore, so you probably have tried it.
I should just make. I don't know if it's like the whole sauce. I think it's like the drizzle, like Mod does, like a top or something. I don't know. How do you guys feel about red versus white pizza sauce, Daniel and Chris?
White's better, and with pineapples.
Yes, pineapple is a good topping. And
white sauce with pineapples.
Yep.
Good for you.
That's crazy. That's like 2 different camps of thinking. Like,
Chris is turning the internet over on its head.
Do one of you guys want to be the turn-by-turn co-host?
We already talked about it. Turn by burn. I think Daniel had a good run. We're just all going to talk about things we hate. No, what's your pizza choice, Daniel?
Anything is like literally
anything but what I said.
I don't know. I guess I'd have to try it before I fully block you on Twitter, but
that's the thing about pizza too. Like, even if it's bad, you're still gonna eat it because bad pizza, right?
Like, my standards are incredibly low. Was it free? That gives it like extra.
Much like my dating life in college. No,
no, because pizza exists.
That hurts.
Zing. That one hurt through the internet.
Yeah. Put one on the board for Shelby. On the board.
Turn by turn to slice by slice. I'm liking it. It's a beautiful thing. So where do you land? How many slices out of a pizza would you give the turtles? Case?
Extra large. 12 out of 12. Like
12 out of 12.
Yeah, because I think that's 12 on an extra large. No, it's a great game. If you like beat 'em ups, if you like a game, you can couch up. Like it's a must own in my mind. Like, it needs to be on your library because you can play with anybody. My 4-year-old daughter, who's had no interest, is like, I want to play all the time. And I'm like, yes, let's do it. Just so I can say turtles.
Did you see this comment and from the chat?
Casey's
Doug,
Turtle
can
Club.
we just rename the podcast?
Hey, man.
Casey's Turtle Club.
Yes, with the new one. No, I'm gonna be moving on because actually we're moving on to JRPG July. But I know actually something you wanted to move on to. You started your Monster Hunter Rise. I played that today too because I was thinking about you in that demo.
I'm trying to figure out the Monster Hunter Rise. Turns out this one entails a lot of reading. So the onboarding in this game is pretty intense, but I'm really liking it. I need to hunt me some more monsters. I think Switch is the right way to play this game. I played Monster Hunter World for a bit on the Xbox One when that came out a couple years ago, or whatever it was. Really liked it. The Switch is really nice to be the console of choice here, though, because you can jump on, play like a 20-30 minute hunt, and then hop off. And it's pretty easy and consumable that way.
What I love about it is if you go online, there's always a group for something. Like the fandom of like it's not hard to go. I was trying to farm because I wanted to get ready because I'm gonna when the expansion comes out, I'm gonna get it and I'll play with you because this was my game of the year last year. Purely because you can ride the dog, right? That was my big argument. My big thing is I got the Rush suit. There was a challenge to get a Rush Mega Man suit, so over your Palamute, it looks like Rush now every time I'm on him. So
you're talking about Rush of Mega Man fame, right?
That is correct. I have Rush, and my dog is named Rush, and I can ride Rush around on the map.
Nice. Chris, it seems like you've played this game a little bit too.
I have. We did an episode on it, and my brother and I were playing that, and I've been playing Monster Hunter since the PSP days.
Oh, wow.
It's gotten way more accessible, right? Like, I felt like I played it on 3DS, and I tried to play on other systems, and they used to, like, micromanage everything. And there's a lot of little systems in this, but it's the most accessible Monster Hunter has been since... World was pretty accessible, but this takes it to that.
I wouldn't use the word accessible. I would use the word streamlined. They're just cutting out a lot of the busy work that you clearly, if you've played Monster Hunter for a decade like I have, you can do that. And it's not where the value in the game ever really was, I don't think. I think that it was you did this stuff to get around to hunting more monsters. And so now they're like, or you could like just hunt monsters. I'm like, or we could just do that, the fun part.
Yeah, the fun part. And get cool items and die. So what's your weapon spec, Shelby?
Currently I'm running with a bow because when I played World, I played bow. So it came like back pretty naturally when I was kind of going through.
Like the regular bow, like bow and arrow bow? Yeah,
the regular bow. It does have a melee attack on it, which is kind of nice. You can do like a 3-hit melee attack with the bow. So I feel like I can like kind of hit them with some arrows from afar and then come in when they rush and do some up close damage.
Chris, what do you?
For Rise, it was the first time I used the bow. I was having fun with that, just kind of casually, and then if I have to like carry or something, I've got to get out the greatsword, the giant sword, because that's what I know I'm the most effective at.
I use the heavy bow gun, and I do a sticky bomb build because I like to watch the big boom go, and I like to lay traps. If you're in a group, it's great because it'll just put little sticky bombs on, and you can have a barrel, and you can set the barrel up to be an explosive and blow up and trap people like that. And then I use the long sword, the katana myself. I was trying to work on my new build because I was looking at YouTube videos for that too. How much crafting have you done, Shelby?
Crafting as in like armor sets?
Armor, weapon sets, yeah.
So I built my first complete armor set, the Great Izaki, someone with an I?
The Izuki, it's like blue and orange
there
and
you
white.
Go. Yeah, orange, yep.
Yeah.
So I built out that one. That was a cool little armor set. And then I upgraded my bow one time.
Yes.
But it kind of has half the tree blocked off right now. So I know I need to play more game in order to access the rest of it.
You have to get the rank 7 monster or the 7-star monsters to get the other half of the tree. Yeah.
Oh, is that you had to go all the way to 7 before that happens?
It's 7-star monsters. It's rank like you'll rank up really fast. Like I'm ranked 75 right now.
Gotcha. Yeah, I would say that, there's a lot of reading up front, but like you said, there's a lot of pretty complex systems in here. Like you really need to understand how the systems click together in order for it to work. This is my second run at a Monster Hunter game. The first one was World, and I didn't really have the social tie-in that I think I'll have on the Switch. So I think I'm going to stick around for this one. I've been enjoying it thus far and continue down the path, I think.
Here's the real question, Shelby. Are you finally going to buy a Nintendo Switch online?
I'm not paying for anything. I refuse.
I respect that.
I signed up for my 7-day free trial yesterday, so we better beat the game in 7 days.
Dude.
No, I respect that.
It's $20.
Yeah, but you pay for your internet already. Like, why are you going to charge me to use my own internet? I fully agree with that.
So you feel that same way about Microsoft and Sony as well? They should
Absolutely.
Mhm.
You're going to charge me $60 to use the internet I already pay for every month? Come on.
Shelby, do you pay for Xbox and PlayStation Online or one of
I
those
mean,
services?
I'm a Game Pass member, so it's all wrapped in that. But
I rest my case. There we go.
Game Pass is different, though.
yeah, there's a lot more
if you
bang
want
for
to
your
play
buck.
classic games on the
don't.
Nintendo, if you get the SNES, the NES, and the N64 library, it's pretty much like Game Pass, really.
I mean,
Some might argue better.
Okay. So while Game Pass is going to advertise Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge,
True.
Nintendo's going to be like, guys, we're adding Mappy. You guys remember Mappy Land? Next month we might add Flicky, but only if you're good.
Don't ruin season 3.
Yeah, guys, we're gonna talk about table tennis for 2 hours for the SNES.
Sick.
Yeah.
Well, was it? What was it? Wasn't it like the 99 Marios was doing really well? And they're like, this is going really well for us.
No,
Let's start
99
charging
Marios
for it.
didn't do great. 99 Tetris has done great, and people really
Is that
love
what it is?
Tetris 99. The Mario one, people are like, this is interesting, and then they got rid of it.
No, what you're thinking of was the pack that had the 3 Mario games everybody loves. That was doing great. Now let's get rid of it.
Yeah.
That
Hey,
too.
We're gonna sell Fire Emblem.
Oh
1.
yeah, the anniversary, for Galaxy 64 and Sunshine
and Fire Emblem 1. I did the same thing. Fire Emblem's turning 30. How do we celebrate? Let's sell game 1 in English for the first time, but only for like 4 months, and then we'll delete
Good
it.
luck.
Like, why?
Nintendo. It's like that South Park where Cartman gets an amusement park, and they're like, "Hey, like no one can come to the amusement park. I want to go." When you make it scarce, everybody wants it. That's the whole.
But here's the deal. Like, this is software. This is not like stuck in a container off of LA. Okay.
Right.
You just turn the switch back on. That's
Hey.
it. And then you get
Yeah,
more. So
people just didn't want Fire Emblem 1 from the Super Nintendo bad enough. Like, what?
Right. Which, by the way, I don't know how they have not released Chrono Trigger. Like, seriously, figure that out. I don't know what you got to do to make it happen.
Because it's not Nintendo's, it's Square Enix. And they have it re-released on a lot of things, but I think people want to remaster that. And I know there's a lot of talk of games. As we move into the news, we can be talking games and what's going on there. We're going to move around the news stories a little bit that we had pre-posted. But I know people really want, speaking of wanting a game, people really want a Simpsons Hit and Run.
Yeah, I saw you pulled the story. So, like, they're doing a they're refurbishing Hit and Run, but it's not like officially refurbishing it. Like, you can't buy this thing.
It's a fan-made Simpsons Hit and Run. Like, so fans want to make it because people have been in a fever. People that played Hit and Run. Did any of you ever play Hit and Run on PS2 way back when?
No, but I know people love it. And I've seen it.
It's GTA Simpsons, right? Like, it's what you want. It's Simpsons that's open world. It's funny. It's well written. And I would love to see it with like a new powerful engine and a new run. We've had a Simpsons renaissance in my house. My son found The Simpsons, and there's some funny quotes coming from him these days now. It's from that. My favorite is, pirate hell is full of pirates. I was like, what are you talking about? Because like Reverend Lovejoy was talking about hell, and there's pirates in hell, and I was like, okay. Good to know.
I think one of my favorite parts of this article is like he essentially said,
real quick, I thought your son just got into Nintendo and heard that from them.
No, that'd be great. Hey, my son's definitely into Nintendo. No, he's really into One Piece, and he really likes The Simpsons. And I think The Simpsons is an American staple of like shows. It's been around for 30 plus years, almost 40. Everyone has a favorite Simpsons episode. I don't know why they wouldn't pay to just make this a real game instead of fans doing it.
Well, I think the funniest thing here is that he's actually quoted in saying, and this article is from Kotaku, by the way. It says, "This is a fan remake for entertainment purposes. This game will never be available for download. Please do not pester my poor Discord mods for a download link." So essentially he's making it to say, hey, look, I'm making something, but no one can buy it unless no one's going to be able to buy this thing. So why wouldn't the owners of Simpsons either come in and say, okay, we'll partner with you and charge for it, or just shut it down completely. It doesn't seem like they're going to take no stance here.
Oh, they're going to come after him. But if only, I don't know. I guarantee one of those people that are going to get it are going to put it out there. Be like, here you go, everybody, because they want to be the cool guy on the internet.
That's sometimes how these things have to happen from a legal perspective, is that you say, well, it's not going to be available for download anywhere. And then it leaked. Oopsie doopsie. And now we have it. It's just kind of how you have to go about these things, because companies still have not this is something I really firmly believe. Like Japanese companies still don't understand things like YouTube and how that is beneficial to games. And they
hate music being played on YouTube. Yeah.
Yes. And in the West, we view that as very backwards. But I think that the West still needs to get on the train of figuring out that fans can make some really good games. And the only one that I feel like has embraced this is Sega so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, and was it Sonic Mania? Wasn't there like a fan recreate that eventually made it out?
It was a bunch
Sonic
of
Mania?
fans
How did that play
worked
out?
on it, and then the guy who they let it was the head of the fan run. Sega hired him internally, and people love Sonic Mania. Sonic Mania is fun. It's good.
First,
Sonic.
they actually had him do the ports. He liked working on Sonic stuff, and I think did a couple fan projects. So they hired him to do the ports to iOS and Android for Sonics 1 through 3 or something. He did a stellar job, from what I've heard. I don't play games on phone really.
Yeah.
But then they were like, "All right, if you are really into this, you can try and lead a project." So Mania happened.
Mania is fantastic, and then they're not using them anymore, which is weird. And the same thing is like, I don't know. There's I think Bethesda's done a really good job, because there's the one company that made the Skyrim mod that is basically another game that is now their own studio because so many people love the mod. I can't think of that company's name. If Sean was here, he would know. I should look it up. But there's a big Mega Man community thing called Mega Man Maker, where you make your own Mega Man levels that people love.
Yes,
I'm one of them, and I want that to be a real thing. And I'm like, Capcom, pay them, because like we talked about it. These indie developers are like, hey, they should be getting jobs because they're making really cool products for you that can make you money.
Yeah, another one I'd like to shout out is Advance Wars by Web, which is they've put like every map in there, every versus map in there. They've created their own, and you can pick any leader from any of the games. And they have like leaderboards, they have casual matches, like they have events. It's insane, and it's awesome.
Are you Final Fantasy Tactic fans too as well?
Have not played it.
Okay, Final Fantasy Tactics is one of my favorite. There is a Twitch channel where they modded it where you just have random armies fight each other and you can make bets in the chat. And I love that. I've always talked about competitive Final Fantasy Tactics would be great.
Yeah.
I also just like betting on video games. Like, yeah, let's do that.
We didn't do bets. We did have somebody in the Shining Force community create a versus mode that is like a little chess set, and it's got different characters and creatures from the game, and you go head to head. And so I've got I've got like 10 rounds or so of that on my channel, and we did a tournament, and it was a lot of fun. And they're talking about doing another one, so if that's something you're interested in, definitely come to my channel, and then I'll hook you up with the Discords, because I don't remember what the Discords are right now.
Well, you could link it in the chat if you find it too, and then we have our Discord too that people could link in. So, but I think there's an opportunity for this. I love like battling games. I love Pokemon Go, and I love the idea that Niantic is making basically NBA Go. I don't know if you guys looked at that news story I sent you today.
That's exactly right, folks. You can now go outside and play basketball on your phone.
Phil is giggling for the segue, I think, and for the fact he's like, "How's he gonna do it?" So there.
What? I've not seen this. What?
Yeah. It's a real world NBA game. I thought real world basketball was just called basketball. Personally, I was like,
I thought we
but we were wrong.
We have an episode called like Elements of an RPG, and we talk about what makes an RPG an RPG. And I argue that the modern NBA games are RPGs, and this is only further influenced, now by Niantic doing Pokemon. Now they're doing NBA, so of course it fits the other large RPG franchise in the US.
So if
Yes.
I'm walking in the woods, am I just gonna like see players? Like is
You
LeBron
walk in the
James,
woods and
like,
suddenly
hanging
Larry
out
Bird
behind a
appears. You're like,
tree?
oh my god, it's the Larry Legend. I don't know how it's gonna work. Yeah, you throw your basketball at people and collect them. You're like, guess what? I got Yao Ming in my hands. I'm trying to think of all the absurd basketball. Spud Webb, that's the one I want. Catch him all.
I can't tell if you're joking. I really can't. Like, is that what
I
this
don't know
is?
how it's going to work. Like, I kind of was more like, what are they doing? Because they had their other game, but they're okay. Here's the we're enveloping the world around the basketball universe, or what I personally like to call the turning the real world into a basketball theme park, which again I thought was just a basketball court. You now placing objects in the real world to become video game items. The convenience store near you has become a location to pick up your stamina for your NBA player. So here's the question I'm curious, like, are you an NBA player and you can make a team with other NBA players? Because if LeBron James is the only person that can have LeBron James, we're all screwed.
I know.
Right? Like, I can't win.
It sounds like what it's going to be, right? It sounds
Right.
like it's going to be like, yeah, you're a character and you got to go around and find different sites in the world, and you're going to get gear and coins and cards and things that you can level up with. And then at some point they'll integrate like playing 5-on-5. Like your character will meet up with other characters. I mean, whole thing is
will there be an NBA street mode where I can bounce the ball off people's head and get a cool nickname? Because that's what I'm interested in.
How did this get out of the marketing department? How is the NBA like, yep, this is the idea we're going with? This one right
because
here.
Pokemon Go makes billions of dollars every year. So, like, yeah, what's basketball players?
But what do you think the NBA Pokemon crossover rate is?
Pretty high, I think. You know, like it's 5-on-5, Pokemon 6-on-6, pretty close there. I
can tell. You're watching
you have
NBA,
a center versus a guard. The center is usually an advantage. Center beats guard. Power forward beats center. You know, there's some rock, paper, scissors there.
Is this like the fantasy football people that just decide I want to be more in shape suddenly? Like, it's very confusing. And what you put up said, like, you walk by your convenience store and collect stamina. And I'm like, it said for your player. And the first thing that came to mind was, do I have a basketball playing Tamagotchi? Is that what this is? I need to go for a walk to get stamina.
Yeah, that's great.
Oh, guys, I'm sorry. I got to stop and feed my Shaquille O'Neal. He's super hungry. He eats a lot right now.
Oh, my God. I mean, but it's interesting to see, right, how different sports are trying to integrate with technology. Because I was thinking back to, like, 10 years ago with baseball, right? Baseball did not want anything on YouTube. They didn't want any of their clips anywhere. They just recently got onto Facebook, where they're actually streaming games live on Facebook. And it seems like football, the NFL kind of has fantasy football built in for it. It seems like some of these sports are trying to find their modern way to integrate with technology, because baseball struggled for a long time with like nobody, like the young kids. Right. Like, I like to watch baseball. Like, I like to go and chill and relax.
Grandpa Phil.
Yeah, but young people, they're not, like, you can't find it anywhere, and like cable's gone. And so I think
baseball fans like 54, 55, right? Because of TV. But their app is really good from what I understand. Like, they developed a really good MLB app.
The MLB
you can watch everything there.
App?
Oh, yeah, like an app like Netflix. It's a streaming service where you can just watch all the MLB, an MLB network. That's an app that they pay for a service there. Do you pay for that, Phil?
No, I don't. No, I'm not paying. I'm not paying for any of that stuff.
No,
I know.
I'm saving up all my money for the
NBA Go.
No, for the Nintendo Live package.
Oh, okay, that's right. Well, really quick, I'll say, how many NBA players do you think there've been all time ever in the history of the NBA?
Less than Pokemon.
More than Pokemon, actually.
Really?
Pokemon's almost a fourth of what's been in there.
But will they all have shiny versions though? I gotta know.
It's when they change teams. Yeah, Michael Jordan, and then Michael Jordan has the Wizards. It's a shiny version.
You're telling me I can't get Irish Yao Ming?
No Irish Yao Ming.
It's almost going to be like an updated version of like West Side Story, where like some people show up at town hall to get a bunch of Weedles. And then the other group is there to get the 84 Lakers.
Yeah. I need to get Magic Johnson.
Yeah.
and some beautiful love stories, or maybe some Romeo and Juliets. We play Go in this house. You will not date anybody that plays that NBA game.
Do you know how
in the
they
history
have
of NBA,
like?
there's been like 5,000 players, so
I'm gonna
played one game.
I'm gonna
And
make
the
a
more-
massive prediction right now.
Okay.
Product placement is gonna play a massive role in this. Like
Yeah.
you're gonna have Shaq, and then you're gonna have Nike's Shaq, and that's gonna be the
That's
like.
what-
Nike Shaq. That's a really short window for Shaq.
I mean,
No,
take your word
and
for it.
you're
that's not
already
fun.
like.
That's not fun.
I
Shaq
was
quit
joking.
doing Nike shoes because a fan came up to him. I'm a huge Shaq fan. Came up to him and told him like, I can't afford these, and so he's like, you're right, and that's why he makes all his shoes at like Walmart because he wanted something affordable for families and kids. So like a Shaq brand shoes like $40.
I need the
Okay.
white pizza sauce version of Shaq. Okay.
Hey, he owns Papa John's now, isn't he? Isn't he the Papa John's guy?
No. He's
Yeah.
not he's Papa John now. He's Papa John.
I'm confirmed.
So I just have to. So like, I feel like this NBA app is going to be like a Couch to 5K knockoff, but it's
Oh,
going
he
to be
owns-
like
he
App
owns 9
Store
Papa
to
Johns.
NBA or something like that. You know what I mean? They're going to get you off and teach you how to dribble little by little, and then get you going.
Yeah. The NBA is also pushed for Oculus too, so I'm not surprised. And people love the NBA 2K games because I've heard that it's like an experience. It's open world. You can walk around and challenge people to 1v1. I will download this. I will play this. I will do a full report. I'm in.
I'll listen
I'm only
to it.
getting 1996 Sonic players though. Sean Kemp, Gary Payton. That is it.
I am definitely after.
You know it.
Well, it's late, so and he's older, but I'm definitely gonna call up like my dad, who's almost 60 now, tomorrow, and be like, "Dad, are you excited for NBA Go?" And just see. He's gonna be like, "What?"
Or he's going to come back and be like, "Yeah, I already pre-registered."
I can
Got my
guarantee you that.
username
As
taken already. Oh man. Well, and our final news story is not as exciting, but it actually wasn't as bad. It was the Nintendo Direct today. Did you guys get to watch any of the Nintendo Direct that aired?
Yes.
A lot of good RPG coverage. Persona 5 is coming to the Nintendo in October.
It happened.
That was the big one. People got, they talked about it 2 weeks ago that it was coming to Xbox, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is that going to be on Game Pass?
I don't know. I can't speak to that. It doesn't. I mean, the thing is like it's also coming in October, I think, though, right? So like Persona 5 is going to be everywhere come October. It's going to the PC, the Xbox, and to the Switch at this point.
It'll be going to Game Pass.
Okay, so is it also included in a Nintendo online account?
No.
Just
what
checking.
planet are you on?
He's making a point. I get it.
I know.
I get it.
Mark went up on the chalkboard, Shelby. Bringing him in tonight.
You are not putting us on a path to get Flicky next month.
Yeah.
Dude.
Oh, come on.
We heard the podcast. The answer is no to Flicky. Okay, Nintendo, just please love me. It feels like there's a ton of RPGs on this announcement today.
Live Alive was been known for a while. It's coming out at the end of this month, and I was one that I was like, "Am I going to buy this?" The demo came out today, and we have so much coming up. Here's the other thing: our show's about backlog games, and someone was giving me a hard time, like, "You're putting a lot of new games." I was like, "You're right." I was looking at my backlog, and I'm a JRPG guy, but I have tons to go here. But the Live Alive is one that will be on my backlog, like to play. The other one that looked interesting was that Harvesta. That Square's coming out. It's like
Live Alive came out like 30 years ago. I think it's safe to play it today and call it backlog.
True, right? Because it's a remake of a Super Nintendo game, right? And this is just the remastered version. You're right. Yeah. Nice spin. I am still playing a backlog game. Suck it to that one guy who messaged me like, "Hey, why don't you play backlog games?"
Give me his handle. I'll tell him.
Yeah, we'll dox him right now. No, that's one actually that I was pretty excited about. Harvesta down at the bottom looked really cool. It's like Square's version of Harvest Moon or Stardew Valley.
Yeah, I saw somebody tweet about this today and say, "We always wondered what would Harvest Moon or Stardew Valley look like if it was made by Square," and the answer is it's emo as hell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm here for it.
Oh yeah.
Minecraft Legends looked interesting. I think the one that I knew, the Portal collection's coming, and I love me some Portal. Portal's a great game.
Yeah, the one that jumped off to me, and I'd seen this once before, and I don't think we talked about it on the cast, was the Harvest Moon meets Disney game.
Oh, the Disney.
Stardew
Yeah.
Valley Disney edition is what it looks like.
Yeah, that you're a Disney guy. I know what you're talking about.
Well, I mean, my kids are gonna eat that up. How about
Disney
Sunbreak?
Dreamlight Valley, right?
Yeah, that one.
That one looks cool. Sunbreak is just more Mohan, like which people like. I thought I would see more from you, Shelby, about Monkey Island. Because aren't you a big Monkey Island guy?
I mean, I played it. Like
Okay.
I came to it too late. I think I played it on 360, so it was already dated at that point. And it's one of those things where it's like you got to mix the hammer with the fan, and that's how you get through. Like it seemed a little difficult to get through at times. But I kind of like the aesthetic. I love Tim Schafer. Like I normally give Tim Schafer a pass on anything he does.
Yeah. I did think it was interesting that like the running meme too was like, of course, Nintendo. You can always count on Ubisoft leaking a game when Nintendo says there's a direct tomorrow because they accidentally had posted, "Hey, the release date for Mario and Rabbids." When Nintendo's like, "It's gonna be a direct," and Ubisoft's like, "Guess what? We're ruining it for everybody."
I heard speculation that was intentional because it's like, it's like a mini direct and it's for partners. And so you have Nintendo people that are like, whatever. And then it's like, Mario's going to be there. And it's like, oh, Mario's going to be there? We better turn out.
Well, here's the thing. It comes out October 20th and then Persona 5's on the 21st. I'd be curious to see which one does better.
I'm going to be honest. I don't understand. Like, I'm always happy that a game comes out on more platforms, but it's really the push for Persona to be on Switch was so odd to me. And that it's like, if you're really, really into this game that you really, really badly want on Switch, have you already played it to be that into it? Or like, it's a little odd.
Yeah. Well, here's what I really like about it. People will quit complaining about it on the internet, and I don't have to see it on my timeline. So I'm like, yeah, it's gone.
I mean, so for my situation, I travel a lot for work, and whenever I travel, I have my Switch, and that seems like the perfect game to just kind of like hunker down on a plane and like read and think out steps and stuff of that nature. So I think that would be my preferred place to play it, is in a handheld mode where I can jump in and out like every 20 minutes if I need to. But I also haven't played it on PS4 or anywhere else. Then I don't know that I would like dedicate TV time to that title. So that's why I'm excited for it. But that also tells you that I'm not like a super hardcore Persona fan too.
Yeah, well, I am interested in it for the same reason. I just think it's odd that there were people posting about this every single direct nonstop every day. And I'm like, man, I'm still happy for you to get a win. Like, don't take this as an attack. You won. I am very happy.
I'm attacking him. I'm happy you're not talking about it anymore. Like, that's how I took it. Like, let it go, guy. I don't need to hear about it every day. Give me some other hot takes.
So do you think that this lineup was strong enough to hang with all of the other Summer Game Fest stuff? Because I feel like it was.
Yeah, I think it was good pacing. I think people want to see Persona. That RPG time looked really cool, where it looks like a storybook. There's that other game I talked about too. The little cool. What's it called? I linked in our chat. That was announced at Summer Game Fest. The little Squire, right? Yes. That one that also is really like
plucky little Squire. I think.
Plucky little Squire. That looks amazing, right? And so does this. So I like cool games that look like that. I think it's a good mini direct. We're still not a real direct. I think people that wanted to hear about Metroid were sad. The other thing I think people are really excited about, I know people love Mega Man Battle Network. They're now releasing the collection.
The first one. And can we give some kudos to Capcom for releasing a collection that contains 10 Game Boy Advance ones? Like, have we done that? Like, I think we're breaking new ground.
They did the Mega Man. Those are NES Super Nintendo games in like 2 parts. Yeah, those are 10 games.
I'm not a Mega Man guy, actually. I've played the one that was on 64, Mega Man Legends, and I played Battle Network. And I really liked Battle Network. I liked both of those, but Battle Network was a ton of fun, and it had great action replay codes, which made it more fun.
Capcom is really good about going, hey, Mega Man, let's just give them all of them. And then they're like other series that people are like, oh, no, we'll just give you all the Mega Mans. And that keeps the crowd quiet.
I think we need that for especially young people that are getting into gaming, like young people that are coming up into this, that it's like, it's sort of like with movies. You want to, if you're releasing a movie that's like, okay, this is movie number 15, the only way you're going to have an audience for that is to make number 1 accessible so that I can start from the beginning and get there. And so, but also you don't want to be like, well, each one is, full price these days. It's $60 to, play Mega Man Battle Network. You'd be like, well, am I going to play 10 of those? Like, no. But if you say, hey, here's 10,
you might.
10 Mega Man, yeah, maybe. But
Yeah.
it's a really, really high value to go, here's 10 like fully fleshed out RPGs for, in one package. Like, that's insane. I just kind of can't believe that.
Right. It's really, we talk about value on this show. And I think on one of your podcasts, it might have been you, Daniel, that talked about, or maybe it was you, Chris. Maybe one of you can remind me that when you used to buy a game, developers make games with intention. Like, you're not buying a game every month, right? Like, this game is supposed to, especially with RPGs, the genre you talk about, it's, hey, you're going to sink a lot of time in this because, it's getting games a special occasion, right?
I think we both feel that way.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And well, we're moving into our next month, and this is a segment we did last year, and it was something that I really enjoyed, and it's JRPG July. And I'm a teacher, and one of my favorite things when I think of summer and summer break, especially for me, that was the time when I'd get like a JRPG to play through the whole summer. That I think of JRPGs. And I forced Shelby and Phil to pick one off their backlog and play with me. So I'm gonna finish Fire Emblem Binding Blade. That's the one that did not come out in the West. I have a fan translated version. And I'm gonna stream the last. There's a bunch of those. The one on the Super Nintendo I want to play is the one with Serum or the Genealogy Holy War. Yep. Is the one I'd like to do next. But I'm gonna finish Binding Blade on stream. I do like you, Daniel, just YOLO. They die, they die. I've lost a few good men and women on the road.
Okay, I feel like this is the time to ask. So if you're going in to play a Fire Emblem game, it's like built to where you're supposed to lose heroes. My question is if I get wiped like on the last or close to like one of the high level maps, am I going to be able to just plug and play another character and still get through that map? Or can you get painted into a corner?
In current games, you can turn that mode off. If you want to just build a guy, but if you want the challenge, if you like know you're like, I'm wiping really bad and I've lost and I don't have anybody built in reserves. Here in the older games of Fire Emblem, it was really bad because there was no like random battles. In these like Fire Emblem 3 Heroes, you could go level. Okay, I lost 2 guys. I'm gonna go out and level up my backups because I have places I can go level them up. Like you can make every unit really good in Fire Emblem if you sink the time in 3 Houses.
I think too that the newer games are not made for it, especially 3 Houses, because you get every character pretty much that you're gonna have in Chapter 2 or something, and so if you lose somebody, there's no reserves coming. That's it.
But you can go recruit other people from other houses. That's the thing about. So I love Fire Emblem 3 Houses is amazing that like if you go talk to a student at the red team, and they really like. There's one character, and this is a minor spoiler. Okay, he's like really just wants to date all the women. Total tomcat, tries to sleep with anything that goes by him. If you choose to make Byleth the main character of the female version. You go talk to him, he automatically joins the house. If you're a male, it takes a really long time. But if you're a female, he's like, yep, I'll join your house. Like, I'll join your school. Because he thinks with a short sword. If you catch my drift.
I've got a hot take about recruiting characters in that game. So this is my hot take, and that is that Daniel and I just also, we're one of our episodes we're doing for season 3, I hope it's okay for me to say, is talking about meaningful choice in games. Yes. That's
it's gonna put. We'll promote that.
And we didn't talk about 3 Houses, but I will say that something that to me makes the house you choose meaningful is not recruiting all those other characters. So I'm actually, for my playthroughs, not doing that because at least in my first playthrough, I haven't gotten there in my second one. In my first one, when we go to war against these other nations and those other nations have those other students, you get really unique interactions. And instead of having, some nameless or faceless guy fill in for them that you don't even know, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't have any emotional weight. It's one of the students is the boss for that map.
Yeah.
And that has a lot more weight to it. And
but if you recruit someone from that school that's close to that student, because that's the other thing, you can build relationships in that game. Shelby, you're thinking about this game and you're thinking about 13 Sentinels, right?
Yeah, correct. And between those two in regard to the JRPG July.
I personally would recommend, I think you would like Three Houses more. From what I understand with 13 Sentinels, it's a giant anime with like random tower defense game in there. But I know people love the story, and it's like a timey-wimey. And as we call it, time travel games are timey-wimey. It's super timey-wimey.
Well, let's not pretend Three Houses is not also super anime.
It is also super anime. Yes. This is also true.
So yeah, and part of my thing is like, oh, JRPG July. That's the time when I play the anime. So that may be why it's on the list as well.
Mm. What draws you to 13 Sentinels?
The fact that it's been on my list of games to play, and I thought it was a JRPG, but apparently it's more of a tower defense, and I haven't really looked into it. But I know that I kind of been avoiding JRPGs for a long time, and last year I got really into Like a Dragon.
That's a good one,
which I liked quite a bit. So I'm excited to hop back into something. Fire Emblem Three Houses is probably going to be where I lean. Because of your recommendation and because of Dr. Z's recommendation on that one as well. He really enjoyed that title also.
Like when I watch the trailers for Aegis Rim, and it is a JRPG and it looks like it has interesting battling. And I know people love it. I don't know. I mean, you like Into the Breach too.
I do like Into the Breach.
Here's what I would recommend. I think maybe you watch like a little
like
one playthrough. Into the Breach is good. Got good tile feel. I think you kind of flip a coin. Daniel, have you played either Aegis Rim? I know you played Three Houses. Have you either of you, Chris or Daniel, played Aegis or 13 Sentinels?
I've looked at it. It looks pretty much to me like you're describing that.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this looks interesting. I might be interested in this. And then I saw a lot of the tower defensey things, and I was like, I can move further down my backlog.
Yeah. But I know Shelby likes tower defense because he's a big ActRaiser fan. Didn't you like that part of ActRaiser, the platforming and that, or no?
No, the sequel that they tried to make for ActRaiser was tower defense, and they ruined it. They ruined it to its core. They took the worst part of that game and were like, yeah, let's do this.
Let's make a whole game about the part we don't like.
No, I mean tower defenses. The last tower defense I probably played was like Balloon Pop with the monkey on the web portal. You know what I'm talking about.
I thought you were. I thought you were a Clash of Clans guy for some reason.
I mean, for like 3 weeks. And I'm also offended. Clash of Clans, really?
Listen, Marvel Strike Force, Clash of Clans, Pokemon Go, we're all there, dude.
Whoa.
One of those hit home, and he knows which one.
Whoa, Marvel Strike Force was more of a JRPG than you'd like to admit. Let's be real.
It is. It has a story mode. It's that turn. I would say it. Phil, what do you think about playing?
So I actually have a couple things to say. First, some compliments to both of you at Turn by Turn. I listened to a lot of episodes today. So today I actually, once or twice a week, I drive into the office, and it takes me about an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes to go each way, depending on traffic. And so I jumped onto your Chrono Trigger episode first because I was considering playing that. And then I realized that, it's one of your first 5 episodes. And then I listened to the last episode of the season, which was The World Ends With You. And I thought it was great. Just first, making content and podcasting is hard. And just you guys have really grown. And I could tell on that last episode that I think that you do a great job. What really interests me when I'm listening to gaming content is a good balance between, game mechanics, just talking about how good a game is, and then like philosophy and like different themes throughout a game. And I thought that both of you, that it was great. It was engaging the entire time. And I'm already following you and excited to listen to your next season. So I think that will be super cool. Now with
please keep going.
Yeah, that's it.
So really good at hyping it.
Oh, stop it some more. Don't stop.
I know.
Your check will be in the mail shortly.
Yeah, I only accept change.
All pennies.
Yeah, exactly. If the box doesn't weigh 10 pounds, I just leave it out there. It's not enough. So then my experience, with RPGs and JRPGs is I finished Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 8, Final Fantasy 9, Final Fantasy 11, and 12. And it kind of ties the two shows together with this, which is we're battling our backlog and we don't have a lot of time. I'll tell you where my experience ended with RPGs and JRPGs. I also did a bunch of Pokemon games, but those are on the shelf. I was playing Final Fantasy 13. And I got to this moment where I was in a sort of transitional boss battle where, you fight a boss and then it opens you up to a new section of the world. And the boss battle was, it was like 40 minutes. And it was like, heal, they just kept going back to full health, attack, heal, attack, heal, attack, heal. And I lost. And then I was like, dude, I don't have time for this. And I just moved on to another game because it was 45 minutes of battling this boss. So I was looking at games, if I'm going to do JRPG July, which I am, and I'm going to stream some of these games on the stream. So I was looking at games that would be accessible, short playthroughs. They don't necessarily need to be easy, but shorter playthroughs that I could get done in, like, say, 10 streams, 20 hours. Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy 6, which is, I think, Final Fantasy 3 in the United States. I was looking at Octopath Traveler, but I think that one is like a 60 to 80
Chrono
hour.
Trigger, all those games you named are all 60 hours.
Are they all 60?
Mm-hmm.
So what would be your guys' recommendations for dads or working people that have 20 to 40 hours to play an RPG?
Daniel, Chris, I'll let you guys take the floor first.
Maybe skew like GBA, like Game Boy Advance. Might be a good. I've been playing this weird one called Lunar Legend.
I love that game.
Yeah, so that's
on iPhone too. That's pretty good iPhone port.
And
I am taking notes.
Like, fun fact about that game: one of your characters is literally Peter Griffin from Family Guy.
Really?
Like, he looks exactly like him. Exactly
Lunar?
like him. What?
In Lunar?
Yeah.
Are you talking about Nash?
No. Nash is the handsome one. I think his name's Remus.
Okay, not Alex. Oh yeah, Remus does. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
the merchant.
right?
He is. He's like, oh my god, he's anime Peter Griffin.
Peter Griffin is also handsome. We don't want to blow you out. No offense to Peter Griffin out there.
Wife.
But he looks just like him. But that's probably in that like 20 to 40 hour range.
That's so funny.
That you could do pretty easy, and it's a very traditional RPG. You have fantasy characters. There's a suspect magic user that joins you and has kind of his own motives and thinks really highly of himself. And there's the hero main character who wants to be an explorer and is weird, somewhat magic.
That's a link of Remus if you want to put it in the chat or in the.
But that might be a decent pick and probably something that hasn't been done like too much.
Yeah. Chris, what about you?
I'm consulting I keep a list of like all RPGs I've played on my phone. I do think going back to the GBA is a good idea. We talked about Fire Emblem Sacred Stones. If you've not played that might be a good one. Because some of the Fire Emblems are kind of like as long as you they're as long as you make them.
There he is.
Yeah. I having not played that game, I see why you say Peter Griffin.
Yeah.
What I want to see,
I was like, what?
I don't know who's putting up the images, but I want to see the guy that Casey thought was Peter Griffin.
Yeah, well, I was like, because he had the hair. Nash did not look like Peter Griffin. I was like, what is wrong? And then because Remus is only in your party for a short time. I don't want to spoil too much, so I don't consider him like he's integral to the story, but you're like, he's not one of the guys, one of the one you in the game with.
Sure, I just want to throw you under the bus because as soon as you were like Nash and Daniel was like the handsome one, I'm like, what is that? What are you saying about Peter Griffin? But another shorter RPG that's again one that's kind of as long as you want to make it. A lot of people won't consider it an RPG. Fully respect that. Fully get why. If you've never played any of the Warriors games, I absolutely would recommend.
Dynasty Warrior.
Dynasty or Samurai, but I'm definitely a Samurai guy.
Or One Piece Warriors, which is anime and awesome because then you learn about One Piece, which I'd be so happy about, Phil.
Yes, you could, but I still would recommend the most. Probably Samurai Warriors 4 would probably be the best one for you. Not 4-2. We did the Final Fantasy 13 2. There's Samurai Warriors 4-2. Yeah, we're doing that. But 4 was really good, and I own 5, but I haven't played it yet. But 5 was like a full reboot, and I don't know about that because I really love the cast. But you'll learn a lot about history, a lot about real people, and it's definitely a fun time.
I'll have my work cut out for me either way.
Either that or it's a little bit longer, I would say, but Samurai Warriors Spirit of Sanada is a really, really intimate. That one takes, instead of letting you pick like which side of this war you want to be on, Spirit of Sanada has you follow just one family through this whole conflict. And you start with the elder, and you watch him grow older, and he has kids, and then you play as the kids, and you get to grow old with them. And it is just a beautiful story. And we've got a turn-by-turn episode about it too that talks about the whole story. So even if you are listening to this and that doesn't sound like your cup of tea to play that, you can go listen to it, and I talk about the story and how moving it is.
Yeah, speaking of which, for those listeners, how what's the best way to follow them or have them follow you or kind of get some of your content?
So probably the easiest way would be to find us on Twitter at the Turn by Turn Pod. But we can send you guys the links to. We have turnbyturn.com.
Oh, nice.
As well, if you want to go directly to the source.
Yeah, our show is called Turn by Turn. If you're tuning in and you haven't gotten that by this point, but you can find us wherever
And
podcasts.
I'm out of here. No,
wherever podcasts are distributed, you can find us on YouTube, Spotify. I don't even know what else. Apple Podcasts. I think we're everywhere because we have a nice production studio that looks
and
after
those
us.
that are listening to the podcast, because we release it on Fridays, all this information will be in the description below. Phil.
Wait, we got a little more to plug.
Oh, go ahead.
You can follow me at Chris_Harkey on Twitter. That is my name. Daniel, do you want to throw your Twitter handle in there?
Sure. I'm usually more on the Turn by Turn Pod one, but if you want to see me talk about Legos or whatever, I guess at Magar Mentions.
Because next podcast, piece by piece, it's just a Lego building podcast.
Brilliant.
Yes.
Don't tempt me.
Actually, next.
No! I'm ruining it for him.
No, you're good. Actually, next podcast, we do have that in the works, and that is Game Dev Hideout. If you listen to Turn by Turn for season 2, we did this cool thing where we did on episodes, which are like the normal stuff you'd expect from us doing games and themes, those kinds of things, kind of concept episodes, we call them. And then the off episodes, the odd numbered ones, were game dev interviews from a lot of MD creators.
Yeah.
You
had
Gold.
You had Gold from the last Chronomancer on. We had him on last year during JRPG July. He's an awesome dude, and I love his passion. Shout out to Gold. I'm gonna shout him out in this later. Shout outs, as the kids say. That's a good episode. I like when you guys do that.
Awesome. Yeah, we're spinning that off into its own show and
nice.
Even stepping outside of RPGs, and we're calling that Game Dev Hideout. So be on the lookout for that.
Nice.
We're super pumped about it. We're doing tons of interviews the past couple weeks, and it is looking to be a very promising season with tons and tons of awesome games and awesome people.
For you, Phil, because I know they kind of like you had these in mind. Chrono Trigger could be about in Final Fantasy VI. Could be 35 to 40 hours. Octopath could be 50 to 60. The thing that Chrono Trigger is arguably one of the greatest games ever made.
Yes. Also, the time it would take you to play Chrono Trigger depends a little bit on the things that you do.
Yeah.
Because there's like 13 endings.
Right. So if you're trying to get everything perfect, it would probably, if you want to would they consider the perfect ending, 50, 60 hours? But if you just want to play it and get a good ending, you could do it in 40 or 20. It's like they have the big three. They have the creator of Final Fantasy, the creator of Dragon Quest, and Akira Toriyama, creator of Dragon Ball, who worked on Dragon Quest.
I think that when I was doing my research last night on it, I saw that Chrono Trigger was such a like it's up there as like top 20 games of all time, and
Mhm.
that's one of the games I've never played. Actually, it's just like I missed it. So that might be what I do. And like I said, I'm going to be streaming on
Yeah.
Underpowered, so I'll probably stream that one if
Big-
that's the one that I go with.
Big point on that one too. Make sure you play the original version.
The Super
'Cause
Nintendo or the DS one, because the DS one has the
I
anime
would-
cutscenes. Or no, yeah.
You can watch the cutscenes, but my personal recommendation is avoid the DS one because they changed a bunch of the music, and the music
Oh, that's
was
right.
just super iconic.
And if we're not talking about music, Octopath Traveler might have one of the best soundtracks in the last 20. It's up there with the top 5 JRPG. I will put it up to
Wow.
anyone. It's soundtrack. Each character is an instrument. If you were listening to it, whoever they hired at Square Enix to make Octopath soundtrack, they need to put them on every game. Put them on
Wow.
Final Fantasy 16, and it will be the best Final Fantasy ever. I love Octopath, but I know it's not. You're a writer, Phil, so you might like the idea that it's 8 short stories that you have to find the way they weave. Because the biggest complaint was there's no overarching story. But if you do certain side quests, you find like, oh, this is how this connects and this connects and this connects, and you're like, oh wow, it can connect all the pieces, but it's not like a here in your face thing. It's like you have to read and write, which we already established no one likes to do. So
Also, to continue throwing Casey under the bus, you heard it
Yeah.
here first. If it has good music, Final Fantasy 16 will be the best Final
yes,
Fantasy.
yeah, it will be
Clipping
if
it.
it has good music.
We'll aggregate that into our show.
No, I do have high hopes for Final Fantasy 16, but we'll see. Well, I think it's time we steered the ship home, Shelby.
Yeah, I definitely think so. We appreciate you guys being on with us today.
Thanks
Sure.
for inviting us.
Yeah,
Thank you.
it was a
Anytime.
blast. We'll have to do it again soon.
Yeah, we'll have to get you guys the other way.
Hey,
Yeah.
there we go. There we go.
There we go.
Perfect. That's awesome. Phil, thank you for being here with us. Casey, always nice to see you. We are going to wrap for the night. And if you want more of us, feel free to follow us on our social channels. Those will be in the attached description, on our pages, on our podcatcher, wherever you're listening. Join our Discord. Leave us a review, 5 stars if you would be so kind. That is a wrap for this week. We are out.
Play your games.